During the 16th century, the Protestant Reformation made great strides in various countries in Europe, such as Germany, Switzerland, England, Scotland, and across Scandinavia. But here in France, it struggled to get going. There were great reformers who were French, such as John Calvin, but by and large, the Catholic Church was able to stay as the dominant power. And throughout the 15, 16, and 1700s, the Protestants were persecuted. One example of this is St. Bartholomew's Massacre, where many thousands of Protestants were killed. Throughout the early 1700s, Europe's economy expanded, which also led to population growth, with it almost doubling during this time. The French population grew the most, going from 16 to 28 million, meaning it was the largest and most populated country in Europe at the time. However, by the end of the 1700s, the French economy took a hit. There were several factors to these. Among them was a crop failure and also a financial drain from France's heavy and prolonged involvement in the American Revolution. Another contributing factor was the departure of the Huguenots in 1685 after many of their rights as citizens were taken away. These persecuted Protestants contributed significantly to the economy, and their absence was a huge loss. At the time, Protestants and Jews were denied full state rights. Unemployment was also at an all-time high, and the gap between the rich and the poor continued to widen. Distrust in the church was also very high, and with a huge disparity between the classes, it eventually exploded into a full-on revolt against all those in authority, both the ruling classes and also those in religious authority. The Age of Enlightenment and the scientific revolution, led by men like Voltaire, Descartes, and Rousseau, among others, led to a suspicion of the church and distrust in religion in general. This was because France, more than any other country during the Reformation, was able to suppress the reading of the Bible. The Catholic Church retained a stranglehold on French society that the Reformation never had the chance to break. The suppression of the Bible in France during the French Revolution was prophesied in Revelation chapter 11, which says that the two witnesses, which contextually are the Old and New Testament, will be clothed in sackcloth, a reference to the Bible being sidelined and disregarded. Revelation 11 goes on to say that a beast would ascend out of the bottomless pit. In Bible prophecy, a beast means a nation or a kingdom, and this one would arise at the end of the 1260-year prophecy around the year 1798. Revelation 11 goes on to say that the great city is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Egypt is a common reference to atheism in the Bible, for no other nation so blatantly defied God. Exodus 5 verse 2 says, "Who is Jehovah that I should obey him?" Sodom is a common reference to sexual immorality. We see both of these characteristics come to pass here in France when, starting in 1793, for the first time an assembly of educated men governing one of the largest nations in Europe, sitting in the building behind me, unanimously renounced belief and worship of a deity. Every nation has had their fair share of atheists, but France stands alone as a state which declared there is no God. Worship of the deity was abolished by the National Assembly. Bibles were collected and burned. An attempt was made to abolish the 7-day weekly cycle, which goes back to creation, and replace it with a 10-day week in 1793. This, however, did not work. The revolution officially started in 1789 with the storming of the Bastille on July the 14th. The Bastille used to stand here, but was destroyed during the revolution as the old regime was overthrown. During the Revolution, the National Convention was the government that formed in place of the monarchy and was the first French government organized as a republic, replacing the monarchy altogether. The long-standing king and queen of France at the time, King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, were killed along with thousands of others here in this square, the Place de la Concorde. They were killed by the guillotine. The church and the monarchy were rejected, and religious views were replaced by reason and scientific thought. Church lands were expropriated and given to the church. Priests were either killed or forced to leave the country. A festival of reason was held in Notre Dame, which was renamed the Temple of Reason. The French Revolution is a vivid episode of history where we see the great controversy between Christ and Satan, good and evil, play out. The legacy of the French Revolution lives on, with atheistic belief common here in Europe and around the world. But in contrast, the legacy of the Bible lives on. As the Bible was outlawed and sidelined here in France, the French philosopher Voltaire proclaimed, "I am tired of hearing people repeat that 12 men established the Christian religion. I will prove that one man may suffice to overthrow it." Many have lived and died since him. Millions have joined the war against the Bible, but it still stands strong today, and the gospel lives on. May we remember the words of Isaiah 54, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," and Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 8, "The word of our God shall stand forever." The Bible has long outlived the French Revolution, and its relevance is still paramount today across ages, societies, and cultures. May we treasure it and let its light shine in our lives and in our communities, that Jesus may be uplifted and seen.